right. Hey, welcome again to another Jorie podcast.
Yeah.
We're always pushing the envelope and with a lot of healthcare knowledge and healthcare facts and fictions, but we
We've
always
got some
like to
really
have a
fun
good
guests
time.
this
Yeah, we
time.
do have
Very
some
fun
fun
guests.
guests. We
Yeah.
have some incredible guests this time. And so, again, my name is Sal. We're here at our Jorie headquarters, and we were very blessed to have Beauregard Hospital System
Yes.
to
Yes.
come visit us, right,
Yeah.
Chris?
Yeah.
And so here we have three beautiful guests here. Obviously, Chris, why don't you introduce our guests for us, and then have them like kind of give a little bit of background.
Yeah. Yeah. I know we've already done this, but if you guys can give a little background on yourself. So can we start with you, Traci, and just a quick little blurb about what you do for Beauregard and kind of a little bit about you.
Sure. Hi, my name is Traci Thibodeau. I'm the CEO of Beauregard Health System. We're a small community-owned not-for-profit hospital in Southwest Louisiana, and we are excited to be a member of the Jorie family and look forward to talking with you more about that.
Yes. Yes. Ashley.
Hi, Ashley Mazzoli. I'm the Vice President of Project Management, and Revenue Cycle Management is under my purview.
Awesome. Delissa.
My name is Delissa Doyle. I'm the Revenue Cycle Manager. I have been in my role for 3 months. I was previously an outpatient coder for the hospital.
Awesome. 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 Well, thank you guys for joining us. And we've had a lot of good discussions at Jorie HQ. We appreciate you guys coming in. So we just wanted to talk a little bit about Beauregard, what you guys have experienced pre-Jorie, with Jorie, anything else that comes to mind. But Sal's going to ask a few questions and just you guys feel free to answer all three together. It doesn't matter. So
Hey, you ladies are putting out the fires.
yes.
You're serving our rural communities
Yes. Yes.
and
Very
keeping your
important.
doors open, getting access to the care out there. So obviously, you're going to have some unique challenges there. Staffing shortages. We heard earlier about trying to just get the staff that is even qualified to do some of the
Yep.
services in rural areas. And we'd like to hear what some of those challenges are. The long hours associated with that, obviously the reimbursement delays, these are the financial problems that you're running into, not only for the major institutions, but are amplified by our rural hospitals. And then obviously the everyday realities for these rural hospitals and what does it take to be able to provide the care there, from providers to the staff that's required to administer the care, to the outreach to the rural clinics and to the people that are remotely addressed from a demographic perspective.
So what if we ask Traci? I know you've talked about your heart for rural hospitals. I know you all have a heart for rural hospitals, but Traci, I've heard you mention it a couple of times. Why is that? What drives that for you?
Well, I'm originally from a small community myself, and so I have the privilege of serving our rural community, and I love the opportunity to help our employees, to help our community, and to sustain access to care. Where we're located, it's about an hour, 15, hour and a half drive in any direction to the next best, highest, higher level care of service. And
Yeah.
so when our community members have a need, we're the front line. We're the first call. We're our emergency department has to be ready to help and stabilize and figure out how to best treat and where the best site of care is for our patients. And most of the time, it's right here at home in our community. But sometimes we're a connector to higher level of care. But being that first line of defense for our patients is very rewarding because it's our community of employees taking care of our community. And so it's us taking care of our friends, families, and neighbors.
I love that.
I love
Yeah.
it. No,
Yeah.
that's, obviously for us, the understanding that how important that is, to give a snapshot of that. Traci, what would happen if your hospital wasn't there? Where would those patients have to go, and how far would they have to travel to get to their care?
about an hour and a half in any direction. So, to the west, it's into Texas. So leaving the state to get to care. It's south to Lake Charles, Louisiana, and sort of northeast to Alexandria, Louisiana. So in any direction, about an hour and a half when you consider traffic and ultimate destination to the next campus.
That's crazy.
That's
just
crazy when you have an acute event. Let's say you're having a baby, and there's just not any
Yeah,
time.
babies, heart attacks, strokes. I mean, sometimes time is of the essence.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Correct.
So, Ashley, I heard you say something earlier that so you were in healthcare, you went to another industry, you came back to healthcare. What besides them twisting your arm to come back? What brought you back to healthcare and why?
Well, years ago, I have an accounting and finance background. So years ago, I was at a large corporate hospital in one of the towns that she had mentioned, and left that to kind of further my career, and went into a completely different industry, which ultimately led me into the corporate world. So I don't think that I was chasing so much healthcare, but looking kind of just what the discussion just was, back to that community, back to the role, back to feeling like I had purpose in what I did day in and day out. And Traci reached out to me, and she really shared her vision, and it was so much in line with what I want. And walking into that hospital, it was just palpable. You can feel the community and the camaraderie. And, I'd worked in the other industry that I had worked in for 14 years. It was in that same community. So I had grown a love and a passion for this community and for these people. And to be able to help out in healthcare was just exactly what I didn't know I needed.
That's awesome. Well, Tracy's convincing because she has the whole
Yes,
Jorie team saying yes to everything. So I
I
see
love
why
it.
you said yes. Yeah, I see that. So Delissa, you mentioned, I mean, you talk about boots on the ground coding. It doesn't get any more boots on the ground than that. What has driven you to be involved in that? Because that's not easy, right? That's one of the hardest things to do. So what drove you to that, and what's your passion about coding in the hospital system?
No, you're right. It's not easy. My passion is just being there for my community. And I started my journey in the clinics and then just learned more from there. And I don't even know why coding became a passion. I just enjoyed coding and seeing the benefits of the reimbursement and
Yep.
things on that level.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Well,
Delissa, you mentioned that in the very beginning, right? As we were talking behind the scenes here, that I mean, you started with no knowledge of coding, right? And then
yeah,
coming up in that rural area to be an excellent coder, that kind of gives you a quick snapshot of like, what we're in these rural areas,
yeah,
taking folks that are in the ground level and then
yep.
bringing them up to a higher standard.
Super important.
That I mean, that kind of accomplishment, I think, is also should be said, right?
It's amazing. It's
What do you feel
amazing.
about your journey there to evolve into where you're at today?
I enjoyed my journey. It was probably not the typical path, but I was a young single mother and I worked in as a receptionist. And my story earlier, I'll try to change my words. I said a mean old lady taught me how to code.
You can't change it now.
Got on
I'm
record.
taking it.
Got on record, Melissa. Sorry.
But I've told the mean old lady the same thing. So
Love it. I love it. I love it. Well, see,
so she
I've
knows.
always thought of coders as gruff, mean old people, but you're so sweet. I mean, I don't believe you. I don't know what
Delissa
happened.
broke the mold for sure.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
Well, I mean, we're all here together for a reason. We want to improve healthcare, improve access to the rural community. You have patients that
Yeah. Yep.
are having a hard time getting their care. There's a purpose for all of this. Kind of brings us to where we're here with this in the right time, in the right place for this advanced automation that would that would help basically take your skill set and multiply it by 500 times. Right. So, how do you guys feel about this whole AI buzz and what's going on and what it could impact in terms of what you're doing in your mission work today for the rural hospitals? And what are your true feelings about artificial intelligence in regards to uh, some hesitations and some promises and some deliveries? What do you want out of it? So, from that perspective, here at Jorie AI, obviously we're all for automation, but why is it important for your rural hospitals from your own personal feelings, and what would you want to see out of this technology? Now, I'll start off with Traci because she's the one that kind of put her foot forward
Yep.
on us with the automation.
Yeah, so that's a great question. And, automation is moving at, and technology just move at the speed of light. And if we're not part of that movement, we'll get quickly left behind. And so it was important to me to get on board and earlier rather than later. And I think automation in general and AI used for good, not evil, is going to be a force multiplier for us. It's going to be a game changer with our ability to achieve optimal outcomes, both as a sustainability factor for our financial performance and patient experience. And so, there are so many opportunities on the horizon, and I am excited about having a seat at the table to advance those.
That's. I mean, we love to hear that because we talked to you, Traci. I know the first time you met, and you met Sal at a conference and so forth. I mean, you were an early adopter of AI, yeah, and you don't think about that, but you were, and that's exciting to hear. And I do think it's taken a passion of a CEO of a hospital system to do that. It's not easy, right? I remember Sal and I used to, when we first started talking to hospital systems, you would swear we were selling snake oil and had two heads. And so you have reached out there. And I think, for me, being a part of a rural area, I appreciate it. I appreciate what you've done
We
from
certainly
the
do.
AI
Yeah.
perspective and actually stepping out there and doing it.
I heard the phrase force multiplier amongst other things,
Yeah.
right? And having a machine that could mimic a human being,
Yep.
and when you kind of identify where all of the rural like pain points are,
Mm-hmm.
first thing you look at is the staff required to deliver the care,
Yep.
staff to administer the care, and when I look at Delissa, I would say that as a coder, you had some questions on when can we get automated coding and things like that. What would that benefit you if you had coding automation that knew everything and all the rules that you know of how to code, but can now be a work multiplier or a force multiplier
Yep.
behind you
Yep.
of, let's say, 10, 20, 30, 500 strong, and expand you across the rural community? How would you feel about being in charge of that?
Well, I like the fact that you said you could make 500 of me.
I love
Yeah. Yep.
That would really be breaking the mold, but I think that coding in an AI perspective would be very beneficial to the rural area because you could produce charges much quicker than just
Yes.
one single person.
Yep. Yep.
And I'll add, with this construct of both human resources on the ground with us and the automation and technology, and our software, our electronic health record. I mean, we really are generating this super team, and it takes a village. Healthcare absolutely takes a village, and so with the right partnership, the right complement of technology, people, and systems, I think we really have got a great foundation to move forward. Ashley, I'd like to kick to you because you have a very unique perspective of coming from different industries into healthcare. And what does this look like for you in what you're trying to accomplish in the revenue cycle?
Well, I have to say, one of the first things when I met with Traci, she was telling me about these bots, and I didn't really know what that meant. And just recently, I gave a presentation, and it was titled "What are the bots up to?" Because I think for us, it's day in and day out trying to just get accomplished what we need to accomplish. But then when you really stop and you think about the magnitude, I gave a count of exactly how many eligibilities Jorie did for us since inception, how many authorizations they've done, how many remits have they posted. And, when you're talking in a rural community, just even from coding, having someone that has that expertise level that can come in and code like you need to, or even having those certifications, it's rare. We saw that as we just had a job opening for a coding position and the very few applicants that actually came in. So my experience coming in from a completely different industry who did not utilize bots, I say I have a whole nother industry that you can go into because that you can help them in a lot of ways.
Yeah.
Such a manual process, and sometimes it's just that monotonous cookie cutter action that I'm sure that's the simplest of things that you guys can create. And the question was asked, where do you want AI to help you? I'm like, I don't know, help me dream, because I don't even know. Help me know what is capable, because we kind
Yes.
of stay in this little box and we don't know what's necessarily out there because we think from a human standpoint of what we're capable of doing. So today has been just incredible being with the Jorie team to see all that you guys have put into action and helped us to see where we can perfect processes, be more accurate in a time where our staffing has greatly diminished, how we can utilize AI to be able to fill those cracks.
That's
awesome.
wonderful. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah.
I would say that also the fact that if AI can alleviate some of this administrative burden,
Yep. Yep.
allows the smarter people like the team here that we have, Traci, Ashley, Delissa, to think of programs to deliver the care, to increase the service lines that are needed in the community. That also affects the revenue from that perspective, but now the focus is to deliver that care. And now you put 500 people or the equivalent of 500 people behind the administrative burden. I'm looking forward to what Beauregard Hospital could be as a future rural digital hospital that has the ability to not only impact the rest of the standard of rural hospitals, but also impact the delivery of that care for the future of our patients.
Yeah, because I think what Beauregard is doing, and Traci, when you talked about it that very first time we met, I mean, I got the sense of the excitement and your willingness to do what it took to put your hospital system at the forefront. So I do appreciate that, and I think what all three of you are doing, and Traci with your leadership, I think will change the landscape of rural healthcare. Healthcare in general, we know we can make a big impact there, but I think just what you guys are doing in the rural healthcare market and what you are going to do to propel other hospital systems is just amazing. So we definitely appreciate you doing it.
Well, I appreciate that, and I appreciate working with the team at Jorie because, and especially reinforced today was, not just focusing on the task at hand, but thinking about the future, the what ifs, the why can't we do this, and really better connect the dots for our staff, our patients, and for the whole healthcare ecosystem. And I think we have tremendous opportunity with leverage our knowledge, our tools, our technology, and the sky's the limit.
Amen, amen. And you got a whole army of bots behind you in the process.
That is kind of creepy, but it's very cool at the same time.
It is.
All right. So, any final thoughts? I would say that before we wrap up, I'd like to ask you all kind of like a short thought of if another rural hospital asks you, what you did that has impacted your organization from an AI perspective on the financial side? What would you tell them today?
Delissa, you want to start?
I do. I would say that we've put in the work, we've done the legwork, and that we've leveraged AI to help us in numerous things, but we've really taken advantage of the things that Jorie has offered and the education that we have amongst ourselves to make the best of the best and to continue to raise the bar.
That's awesome.
Very good.
Love it.
Well, any of our successes, I have to attribute to Delissa and Traci. You talked a lot about, Traci's leadership and kind of catapulting this after her meetings with you. And one of the first things when I came on board, I could just see, I thought, oh my goodness, this woman is brave to go out on such a limb on, something that is kind of, not really chartered in this industry. And I have nothing that I have brought to the table yet as it relates to AI in our organization. But I just have to say, I'm so appreciative that those that were before me made those investments. I'm reaping the rewards now, and definitely plan to make my own contributions with AI in our organization.
You're selling yourself short, Ashley. You've already moved mountains just in the few months that you've been with us. We're blessed to have you, for sure.
Amen.
Yeah.
Well, and I was going to say, parlaying on top of that, Traci, Ashley, you've been so supportive, and a lot of times in what we've seen in adapting into AI, that support that you've given to our team at Jorie, that's what it takes a lot of. So I agree with Traci. Don't sell yourself short. You've supported our team, and that's crucial and part of the process. So Traci, what do you think in wrapping this up? What are your thoughts?
Well, healthcare is broken in so many ways, and this partnership truly gives me hope. And what we do for our community is healing and inspiring hope. In the healing process and the wellness process, and so my cup is full, full of hope and opportunity. And the fact that us working closely and collaboratively, we're going to bring out the very best of each other, and that is going to translate directly to our patient experience and our operation. And so for that, I'm very thankful and very hopeful.
Awesome.
Well, awesome.
Well, we at Jorie, Sal and I, and the entire Jorie team, we're thankful for Beauregard team and all that you guys have done to step out there and help your community and your partnership with us. It's been an amazing experience, and you're the community that you guys serve. They're blessed to have y'all. I can guarantee you that.
Absolutely, and it's great to have a example of real time success.
Yeah.
With automation. A lot of our hospitals are still guessing if automation is going to work for them or not work for them, and there's been a lot of ups and downs there. And to continue to push the envelope and get real time conversations from rural hospitals, like obviously Beauregard leading the charge there. We want to send that message across. Thank you, ladies, for your time. You've just been incredible guests here at Jorie. We would love to see a snapshot of this in the upcoming years to see what this has really transpired into. And thank you for being on our podcast. Until next time.
That's a wrap.
That's a wrap. Thank you,
Awesome.
everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.